Are you ready to see how a city can transform abandoned lots into an urban farming oasis? Look no further than Detroit. Once a city known for its industrial roots and automotive heritage, Detroit has now become a hub for urban farming. In this video, we'll explore how Detroit is turning abandoned lots into lush farmland and the impact it's having on the community. As you walk through the city, you might be surprised to see lush green spaces where empty lots once stood. These are the urban farms of Detroit, and they're not just producing fresh fruits and vegetables. They're also creating jobs, bringing communities together, and revitalizing neighborhoods. But how did Detroit become an urban farming oasis? It all started in 2010 when the city decided to take action on its abandoned lots. And the results have been nothing short of incredible. So let's dive in and explore how Detroit is transforming its urban landscape into a green paradise, one abandoned lot at a time. Detroit has a rich history as a city known for its automotive industry and Motown music. However, in recent decades, the city has faced significant economic and social challenges. Detroit's population has decreased significantly since its peak in the 1950s, when it was home to nearly 2 million people. The city's decline began in the 1960s with the rise of suburbanization, and it was further exacerbated by the decline of the auto industry in the 1980s and 1990s. This led to the abandonment of many neighborhoods and the proliferation of vacant lots throughout the city. As the city faced these challenges, there were many innovative and creative efforts to revitalize it. One such initiative was the urban farming movement, which began in 2010. This movement sought to transform vacant lots into productive urban farms that could provide fresh produce to the community. Urban farming was seen as a way to address multiple challenges facing the city, including food insecurity, unemployment, and blight. Through this initiative, the city of Detroit has emerged as a leader in the urban farming movement, and its efforts have inspired similar initiatives in other cities around the world. The urban farming movement in Detroit began in 2010 when a group of community activists and local residents came together to form the Detroit Agricultural Network, DAN. Their goal was to create sustainable and community-based agriculture in the city. The idea was to transform vacant, blighted lots into green spaces that could provide fresh produce to the community while also creating jobs and opportunities for people who lived in the area. One of the first urban farms in Detroit was the Hance Farm, a large-scale farm located on the city's east side. The farm was started by John Hance, a businessman who believed that urban farming could help revitalize Detroit. He invested millions of dollars into the project, and today the Hance Farm is one of the largest urban farms in the country. As urban farming gained traction in Detroit, more and more people started to get involved. Local residents began to transform empty lots into small-scale farms and community gardens. The city also started to support the movement by offering grants and resources to urban farmers. Today, there are over 1,400 urban farms in Detroit, ranging from small-scale gardens to large-scale commercial farms. These farms are run by local residents and community organizations, and they provide fresh produce to people who live in food deserts, where access to healthy food is limited. The urban farming movement in Detroit has been a huge success, and it has inspired similar initiatives in other cities across the country. It has created a sense of community and pride in neighborhoods that were once abandoned and desolate, and it has provided jobs and opportunities to people who live in the area. Urban farming has truly transformed Detroit into a city of growth and opportunity. Urban farming has had a significant impact on the city of Detroit. One of the most important benefits of urban farming has been the creation of a sense of community in neighborhoods that were once abandoned and desolate. Urban farms have become a hub for community activity, bringing together residents who may not have had a reason to interact with each other before. They provide a place for people to gather, learn about agriculture, and enjoy the outdoors. Urban farming has also brought about a renewed sense of pride in Detroit's residents, who have seen their neighborhoods transformed from empty lots to vibrant green spaces. Another key impact of urban farming in Detroit has been the provision of fresh produce to people who live in food deserts. Food deserts are areas where access to healthy food is limited, either because of a lack of supermarkets or because fresh produce is too expensive. Urban farms have helped to address this issue by providing fresh fruits and vegetables to residents who may not have had access to them before. In addition, urban farms often sell their produce at affordable prices, making it accessible to low-income families. Urban farming has also created jobs and opportunities for people who live in the area. Many of the urban farms in Detroit are run by local residents who have been trained in agriculture and business skills. These farms provide employment opportunities for people who may have struggled to find work in other industries. Additionally, urban farming has created a market for local food businesses, such as restaurants and grocery stores, that are interested in sourcing fresh, locally grown produce. Finally, urban farming has helped to beautify the city, making it a more attractive place to live and work. Empty lots have been transformed into lush green spaces, and abandoned buildings have been repurposed as community gardens. Urban farms have also helped to reduce crime in some areas, as they provide a positive activity for residents and deter illegal activity. Overall, urban farming has had a positive impact on Detroit in a number of ways. It has created a sense of community, provided fresh produce to those who need it, created jobs and opportunities, and helped to beautify the city. As Detroit continues to grow and evolve, urban farming will undoubtedly play an important role in the city's future. Despite the success of urban farming in Detroit, there are still challenges that must be overcome. One of the most significant challenges is the lack of resources. For example, many of the farms lack access to water, which is a critical resource for growing crops. In addition, some farms lack access to equipment, such as tractors and tillers, which can make it difficult to cultivate large plots of land. Another significant challenge facing urban farming in Detroit is the lack of funding. Many of the farms are run by volunteers and rely on donations to operate. Without sufficient funding, it can be challenging for farms to expand and grow. This lack of funding also makes it difficult for farms to invest in resources such as irrigation systems, greenhouses, and other infrastructure that can improve crop yields and extend the growing season. Finally, urban farming has faced opposition from some residents who are not used to seeing farms in their neighborhoods. Some people view the farms as eyesores or believe that they attract pests and vermin. This opposition can make it challenging for farms to gain community support and can lead to zoning issues and other regulatory challenges. Despite these challenges, urban farming in Detroit has continued to grow and thrive. The city has made significant investments in urban farming and is working to address some of the resource and funding challenges faced by farms. In addition, urban farming organizations are working to educate residents and address concerns about the impact of farms on neighborhoods. By addressing these challenges, Detroit's urban farms will continue to provide fresh produce, create jobs, and improve the quality of life for residents in the city. Despite the challenges that urban farming has faced in Detroit, the future of this initiative is incredibly promising. The city's investment in urban farming has paid off, and there are now over 1,400 urban farms in Detroit. These farms are producing over 400,000 pounds of fresh produce every year, and they are providing jobs and opportunities to people who live in the area. One of the key factors that will shape the future of urban farming in Detroit is continued investment. The city has already invested millions of dollars in this initiative, but there is still more work to be done. More funding is needed to expand the farms and provide resources like water and equipment. Another factor that will impact the future of urban farming in Detroit is community engagement. The success of the farms is due in large part to the involvement of local residents, and it's important to continue to involve them in the decision-making process. This will help to ensure that the farms are serving the needs of the community and that they are sustainable in the long run. Finally, technology will play a crucial role in the future of urban farming in Detroit. New innovations like hydroponics and vertical farming will allow farms to produce more food in smaller spaces, making them more efficient and sustainable. As technology continues to advance, it's likely that we will see even more exciting developments in urban farming. In conclusion, the future of urban farming in Detroit is bright. With continued investment, community engagement, and technological innovation, these farms will continue to provide fresh produce, create jobs, and beautify the city for years to come.